Not a stranger, not someone you vaguely distrust, someone you have known for years, someone you have confided in, defended, built things with. And they are not who you think they are. They have never been who you think they are. You simply did not know where to look. Here is the belief that has been quietly destroying men for centuries. The time reveals character, that loyalty is built through years, that if someone has been in your life long enough, you know their soul. That belief is not just wrong. It is the exact mechanism predators rely on to stay hidden. Time does not reveal character. Time gives a skilled actor the opportunity to rehearse. A psychopath with the right incentives can hold a mask in place for a decade. What you interpret as trust earned over years is, in some cases, nothing more than a performance that has had years to mature. You have been evaluating the painting. You have not once looked at the cracks in the canvas. Machiavelli understood this. He spent his life dissecting power, not as an academic exercise, but as a survival mechanism. He watched princes fall, not to armies, but to the men standing closest to them, men they had chosen, men they had trusted. And his conclusion was surgical. Character is not revealed in stability. Character is revealed in fracture. In the thin slice, in the half-second when the social mask cannot move fast enough to cover what is underneath. There are three specific moments, three psychological pressure points, that force a human being to show you exactly what they are made of. Most men miss them because they are listening to words. Words are the performance. The truth lives in what happens before the performance catches up. Once you learn to see these moments, you will not be able to stop seeing them, and some of what you see will not be comfortable. You have been in rooms with these people. You may be in a room with one right now. The charming one. The one who mirrors your values back at you so precisely it feels like recognition. The one who laughs at the right moments, asks the right questions, makes you feel understood in a way that is rare. You have told yourself that this person is different, that the instinct in your chest, the low, quiet unease you cannot fully name, is paranoia, not perception. It is not paranoia. What you are dealing with, at the darker end of this spectrum, are men and women who do not view you as a person. They view you as a resource, a source of energy, status, access, or validation. They are not cruel in the way that obvious villains are cruel. They are precise. They give you just enough to keep you oriented toward them, and they take in ways that are difficult to articulate until the damage is already done. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience who you really are. He was not warning you about strangers. He was warning you about the people who control the conditions under which you observe them. To see what is real, you have to change the conditions, not dramatically. Drama is too obvious. Even a cornered man can perform grace in a crisis if the audience is watching. You need the thin slice, the unscripted moment, the introduction of a small variable that was not in the rehearsal. Psychologist Nalini Ambadi's research at Harvard found that humans can assess character with significant accuracy in under 5 minutes of observation, often more accurately than after months of acquaintance. The reason is not magic. It is that the intuitive mind registers micro-leakage that the analytical mind explains away. You felt the truth long before you permitted yourself to think it. What follows is how you confirm it. This is where most men operate, and it is the level of maximum vulnerability. The sleeper evaluates people based on how those people treat him. If someone is warm, he concludes they are warm. If someone is generous, he concludes they are generous. He has never considered that warmth and generosity can be deployed strategically, that kindness, extended conditionally, is not kindness at all. It is investment. He takes behavior at face value because he has never been given a reason not to, or because the reasons were there and he chose not to look. He is not naive by nature. He is naive by habit. The world taught him that assuming the worst of people is cynicism, and cynicism is weakness, so he trained himself not to. He is currently surrounded by people he has never tested. And he believes that absence of evidence is evidence of absence. It is not. It is just an untested cage. The mimic has been burned. He came out of a situation, a relationship, a partnership, a friendship that left him restructured in ways he is still measuring. He now talks about red flags. He now talks about trust. He has read enough to know the vocabulary, but he still uses the wrong instruments. He's looking for dramatic signals. The obvious lie, the overt betrayal, the moment of visible cruelty. He is still listening to words when the data he needs is in behavior. He has upgraded his awareness without upgrading his perception, and so he remains vulnerable to precisely the category of person he believes he can now identify. The mimic sees what is shown to him. He has not yet learned to create the conditions that reveal what is hidden. The calculator has made a foundational decision. He will no longer evaluate people on what they present. He will evaluate them on what they reveal under specific conditions. He understands that a person's character is not their behavior toward him on a good day. It is their behavior when a small amount of friction is introduced, when a minor boundary is set, when they believe no one important is watching. He begins to deliberately engineer these moments, not as traps, but as calibration. He is developing what Machiavelli described as the fox's intelligence, the ability to recognize traps before they close. He does not yet have the full map, but he has stopped walking blindly, and that alone separates him from the majority. The operator runs all three tests with the precision of a diagnostician, not as a habit of suspicion, but as a standard of admission. He has established that access to him is not a default. It is something earned through observable behavior under real conditions. He has also done something rarer. He has turned the same instruments on himself. He knows his own micro-expressions. He knows the specific conditions under which his own mask slips. He has audited his reactions to being told no, to watching others succeed, to holding power over someone with no accountability. He knows what he found. He has been working on it with the same coldness he applies to everything else. He does not trust people less than others. He trusts correctly, which is a different thing entirely. The architect no longer needs to test people in the conventional sense. He has developed an environmental awareness that reads behavioral data continuously and passively. He has spent enough time in deliberate observation that the patterns register automatically, the way a surgeon reads anatomy without conscious effort. He does not announce his assessments. He does not confront. He adjusts, quietly, incrementally, without drama. The people who fail his calibration do not receive a verdict. They receive distance, gradual, methodical, unannounced withdrawal of access, information, and trust. By the time they register that something has changed, the recalibration is already complete. He controls who enters his world not through confrontation, but through curation. He has learned that the quality of his inner circle determines the quality of everything he builds. Machiavelli said it directly. The first measure of a ruler's intelligence is the men he keeps around him. The architect takes that seriously. Do nothing dramatic. Wait for someone you suspect to make a small request, trivial, ordinary, the kind of thing that happens in any relationship, and say no. Not with apology, not with elaborate justification, simply, I can't do that right now. Then watch the face. The healthy person processes this as data and moves on. Their self-concept does not depend on your compliance. But the person who views you as an extension of their will, an instrument rather than an individual, will experience your refusal as something closer to a physical shock. The smile will freeze before it recovers. The light will leave the eyes for a fraction of a second before the mask reassembles. Paul Ekman's research on micro-expressions established that this involuntary reaction lasts less than half a second. The reptilian brain responds before the social performance can catch up. You will see it if you are watching for it. Most people are not watching. They are too busy managing their own discomfort at having said no. If someone cannot receive a small denial with grace, Understand what you are actually seeing, the preview of what they will do when the denial is large. The man who goes cold when you decline to pick up coffee will not handle you leaving the partnership, the relationship, or the agreement with anything resembling grace. The micro-denial does not reveal how they feel about the small thing. It reveals the architecture underneath everything. Share good news, not cautiously, with genuine enthusiasm, and then stop listening to the words that follow. Words are the easiest thing to control. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Anyone can produce these sounds. What you are watching is the face before the words arrive. The micro-delay between hearing your news and generating the response. Whether the smile reaches the eyes, or whether the mouth is performing while the eyes remain flat and calculating. Watch for the pivot, the person who immediately redirects from your win to their own narrative. Watch for the diminishing compliment that sounds like praise but lands like a verdict. A person who cannot celebrate your success is not your ally. They are a saboteur operating on a delayed timer. The question is not how someone treats service staff. The question is how someone behaves toward anyone over whom they hold unchecked power in a moment of stress. In those moments, social performance has no audience worth performing for. The mask has no incentive to stay in place. Abraham Lincoln said that if you want to test a man's character, give him power. You do not need to give him significant power. You need to watch what he does with the small amounts he already has. Dark Renaissance oil painting style, man pausing mid-thought, reflective expression. Because the most important application of everything above is not outward, it is inward. Audit yourself with the same precision you would apply to anyone else. This is not about guilt, this is about calibration, about becoming a man whose inner architecture is not exploitable. The people worth keeping are rare. You will not find them until your hands are empty. Drop the weight, step into the cold clarity. The old you ends here. Go build the one who sees.